Welcome back to Voices of Impact, where we sit down with trailblazers who are not just keeping up with change, but leading it. So I'm your host, Veena Ramaswamy, executive coach and founder of Beautifully Empower Coaching and Consulting. So helping leaders align purpose with performance in this new era of AI and transformation. So today's episode is Redefining Productivity, Jaclyn's vision for ethical human-centered AI. Features a remarkable guest, Jaclyn, founder of Sortara, a company pioneering AI-powered organization platform that helps people reclaim time from digital chaos, right? So important in this day and age. So with a background in data science and product leadership across organizations like SAS, Spectrum Labs, and Seed Data Software, Jaclyn is redefining what productivity means in the AI age, making it less about endless output and more about meaningful creation, privacy, and ethical design. So Jaclyn, welcome to Voices of Impact.
Thank you for having me, Veena. It's so exciting to be here.
Likewise, so glad to have you and hear your story. So, love to know more about your background. You built such an inspiring journey from data science to founding Sortara, which is amazing. As a fellow entrepreneur, it's really nice. And leading innovation in ethical AI, a very important topic these days that a lot of people, overlook. So, what inspired this transition into entrepreneurship?
The inspiration in a nutshell is just living life. I found myself navigating some of the most joyous and difficult moments in my life almost simultaneously.
Mhm.
And in that moment, I needed places to collaborate with loved ones. I needed a place to ask and research questions. I needed a place to say things. And I needed to do all of this privately, not something that might be used for resold or training. And so I just immediately was inspired to build Sortara. And honestly, I am just delusional enough to believe that I can actually build something better than what's out there today.
Yeah, I love that. And likewise, I actually saw your app and what you're doing, and it's very inspirational.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. So kudos to you. I'm so glad. I hope that you can make such a big impact because, especially for executives, we're always talking about reclaiming time and how important that is. So going into that question of what's the deeper mission behind Sortara? So I know we talked about the reclaiming time. If you can go deeper into what problem are you truly trying to solve for people?
Yeah, absolutely. So just echoing what you just stated is our time is not a renewable resource for us. And I think we forget that and we start to remember it later in life. And so while it has been so much fun to watch these LLM tools create videos and stories and photos, I would rather spend that time creating myself, doing something meaningful with my time. So I just am really interested in seeing these teams that are out there, these research AI labs focused on giving us our time back to do things that we love. And I believe that technology like this can actually uplift the quality of life for every human being on the planet today. And mostly in three areas that I believe are healthcare, education, and something I've started to call helpful AI. So I think of AI doing things in the background for me because it already knows what I'm going to want to do. These LLMs are pattern recognition tools. They're not actually AI. So they can learn from you for you, privately, quietly, organizing your life in the background, searching for things for you to choose from, taking care of your calendar, drafting emails for you. And the other big side of this coin for me is privacy. The personal data selling market and the constant exposure to ads are something that I just can't stand anymore. I think it would radicalize me to build something, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted a safe place to save things and collaborate with loved ones and have a small agent of my own that learned from me to work for me privately. And so
Mhm.
that's kind of the deeper mission behind the entire effort.
Love that. Work for me. Yes. And I know how important that is, whether it's an executive or a founder, to kind of have time, like you said, that, being fully present with other people and having like an agent that does these like admin stuff, for you. So,
Right.
yeah. And I can relate. I think I
Right.
probably need to use your app now. Yeah, it's so important. And I'm knowing I think time is just so valuable, like you said, so precious, and people overlook that. And I have a lot of people come to me saying, how do you manage your time? How are you wearing all these hats? So it's very important that you brought that up. So That's amazing.
I
Yeah,
want us to be able to wear less hats, but do just as
exactly.
much as we need to do, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think it's all about working smarter, not harder. And whether that's executives and especially for entrepreneurs, this is a huge thing because we're so used to like conditioning of like, oh, we need to work so hard. And that's what success is about. But I like how you're redefining that leadership and success as like, hey, like it's all about working smarter. And you can take back that time and use that time for other things that are more important that truly matter. So
Right.
I love that. And yeah. So, what experiences shaped your values and leadership philosophy in tech?
Well, this is one, it was an exercise at a previous company, and it's called the yes and perspective. And it has completely changed the way that I think about working with people and leading teams. As we listen and we build confidence in one another, it's very important to ask questions. And when you like an idea, respond with yes and. This type of building up exercise creates momentum towards the goal and allows you and the people around you to work toward a strategic target together instead of competing for one or trying to one up each other. And I have just found that when you build a target in tandem with your people, you will be amazed at how much faster everyone you're working with will run towards that goal for you. And there's no other way to put it, right?
Yeah. It's all about collaboration.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think that's what it comes down to the mission and purpose that I wanted to highlight. Cause I mean, people like talk about leadership in a way that's more competing and it's different now, right? It's really different. Look at us right now, us talking about the same thing. We have similar purposes is making sure people are thriving and fulfilling and reclaiming time, but you can do it different missions and still help each other out. And that's what this modern leadership, transformational leadership is all about. Like we can
Absolutely.
make an impact together. Like why do it yourself?
Well, and I think a really big part of it, and this is just going a little bit towards like a life philosophy,
Mhm.
believing in abundance versus limits of life just bring abundance to you, right? So there's
Exactly.
enough to go around. There's absolutely no reason why it has to be any other way, right? Find people
Mhm.
who have a similar mission as you or believe in your mission and want to help, and these people will be attracted to you just by the way you
Exactly.
do these building up exercises versus competing exercises. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I love how you brought that up because that's something that's planning. I'm kind of like adopting now, right? The abundance mindset recently that there's so many people out there who are just like me and you, right? So going in with the opportunities that can come to you rather than I know a lot of people kind of chase after things and going with that energy. A lot of it's just really energy,
Oh yeah.
that you kind of find the right people and that's how we connected. So I love that. I love how you brought that up. Yeah, so I know AI is something that gives people time back. So we talked about that. So how do you balance the innovation with the intention in your product design?
Oh, that's a great question. So I think it's just important to remember that with all of these new products that are coming out and how they are changing so rapidly every single day, you can still have an end goal and not be too focused on how you get there. Because if you continue to keep your mind open and researching and reading and staying up to date on these things that are happening, you can continuously fold them into your decision making so that you do reach that goal faster. But at the same time, you may not have got there exactly how you planned on it because you decided to incorporate something you learned halfway through the process.
Yeah,
So, be focused on the goal you're headed towards and be sure to let the solutions to get there come to you, right? Not fight the day to day
exactly.
tactical that has to be done to achieve it. And
Right.
then that'll prevent you from getting caught up or hindering yourself as all of these technologies are changing so rapidly.
Yeah. It's all about having the growth mindset, like how you talked about. It's not, yeah, have the
Right.
goal, but like not just kind of like be stuck on that, kind of go put yourself out there, grow and learn, refine, iterate. Because everything's, like you said, changing. So you want to have go in with that mindset, and that's how you balance everything, right? You're intentional about your time, what you're doing, but that's how imagination, creativity comes in. It's just being in the moment, right? Being in the present moment, enjoying what you're doing, and really
Right.
serving your mission and purpose.
Yeah.
Right. So absolutely, 100%. Yes, I wanted to kind of ask you that when you're leading both technical and creative teams, what helps you stay clear and aligned on that vision?
That's another really good question. So, I have actually found that keeping two separate roadmaps are incredibly crucial. This is a lot again about having your long-term goal, but also having your short-term steps identified and ready to be executed. This is like in summary, it's like being able to act tactically without losing sight of where you're headed. It allows you to see the forest and the trees. And
Right.
it's kind of, you should think of it as two roads that you're walking simultaneously in parallel.
Right.
It's not easy. It's something that you kind of have to do to lead and build, but it's kind of how I envision it for myself daily. That's the kind of manifestation technique, if you will, or the vision technique that I use to think about, okay, what needs to be done today versus this is all towards this higher goal. This is all towards
Yeah.
where I'm going. This is all towards ethical AI. This is all towards a helpful AI versus I know I need to get these 10 things done in 2 weeks. So
Exactly.
let's not forget these two things are happening at the same time.
Yeah, and exactly, and I love how you said manifestation because that's what I'm all about right now nowadays. So, yeah, and I think I used to get caught up in, like, just planning and organizing
Oh
and
yeah.
then trying to complete my, laundry list, and I was like, "Oh, wait, what am I here to do?" Right? I'm here to
Mm,
help other leaders thrive. So, I think a lot of leaders, when I talk to them, there was that struggle, right? That
right.
struggle has, like, especially in the technical and the AI, they're like, "I'm so overwhelmed, let me focus on this," and
Right.
when I asked them, like, what's the why behind it? What's your legacy? What's your vision? And they're just like, hesitating, right? They're kind of struggling to answer that. So I love how you brought that up, that it's a balance of the two. So I love how you brought that up. And it's super crucial that leaders try to practice that, right?
Right.
Everything just takes practice. It's a mindset thing for sure.
Building on that exact mindset, yes, and
Yes.
so something that I just thought of while we were talking about this,
Yeah.
something else that I had to get very, very comfortable with dealing with technical and creativity teams was always having an undone list.
Mhm.
I'm particularly type A at work. And so I like to be able to see myself wiping these lists clean, starting from a new slate every day. But as you move into the role of entrepreneurship, the leadership roles, the answer is these are never over. These tasks are
Exactly.
never done. They're always slightly changing. The product's never quite perfect. That feature's not
Right.
quite what I want to see. And so being more comfortable with the need for consistent change incrementally was also something that I found myself really having to learn over and over again really early on when I did the startup.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't agree with you more because I think this also like is a thing that we talk about is overcoming perfectionism. And this is something
Mm,
I was struggling with. I have to make all of my branding so perfect and the product and everything. I would never put it out there. And
it
then
feels that way.
yeah. And then I had my coach, she was like, what are you doing? Like, just put it out there.
Just
You're
do
doing an
it.
amazing job. And I was like, yes, and that's how I learned, right? That's how I
Right.
grew. That's how I was like progress over perfection. And I know a lot
Right.
of us executives struggle with that. So one thing I wanted to kind of talk about in this podcast, I'm glad you brought that up, was always focused on progress and celebrate those wins, even if it's a
Oh yeah.
small win. Even coming on this podcast, like I'm hosting this, you're coming on here. You're
Right.
promoting your story and your app. I think all of this is a great win. So taking the time to just celebrate and slow down to speed up, right? And these are things that I want to just talk about. Absolutely. So, on to the next question. So, visibility is often key for executives, but especially founders, right? So, what strategies or mindsets have helped you step into that visible leadership role with confidence?
So I keep two questions front of mind all the time. And again, I think this helps me stay just delusional enough to think I can do it. If not now, when? And why not me?
Yes,
Every single
yes,
person, like, if not now, when? And then why not me?
yeah.
Why not? Right.
Why not? Why not? Exactly.
Yeah. Every single person who's ever grown professionally or personally has taken a step forward without having any idea what the future is going to hold for them, right? This is just the reality of trying to build, trying to put it out there, trying to tell your story. And so I decided, why not put my voice, my perspective, and my ideas out there? It could change everything. And for me, that was the finality of it. That was the decision. That was the light switch, whatever you want to call it, in my head. And I said, it's worth the risk. And that's when the whole process started. When
Yeah.
I just decided it's worth it. That's it.
Exactly. It is.
Yeah.
And it is worth it. You're worth it. I love how you just said, why not me?
Why not?
Because you deserve the best. And we're not here to settle. And you know how many times I've talked to executives and they're like, yeah, I'm comfortable, I'm comfortable. And I was like, why not thrive? Like, I know you want to thrive. You deserve the best. Like, why not you? Like, you have all it takes. And also coming down to like that imposter syndrome that I've heard from people saying that, but I don't think I have enough experience, or maybe it's the years, or, but it's really not about that. I wanted to kind of bring that up. It's really about who you are internally, right? Your self-worth, what you bring to the table, the unique
Right.
value that you have. And that's why we call ourselves like, why not me, right? We want to
Right.
keep asking ourselves, why not me? Why can I deserve the best? Why can't I put myself out there?
Exactly.
Why my story can really inspire others. Like, why am I holding back? You want to ask those questions. And I love how talked about that, which is very important for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, what are some of the biggest challenges you
Mm.
faced as a founder, competing in a space that's dominated by major tech players?
I think this is a great question, and I don't think this response is going to surprise anyone. Is that I'm not Meta, right? I am not Amazon. I am not OpenAI. I don't have unlimited funds. I can't go out and offer some of the best MIT graduates $500 million signing bonuses.
Yeah.
So I can't move as quickly as I would like, right? I'm overflowing with ideas all the time. I constantly have a backlog of features and tickets and things I would just love to push out, and five more engineers I would like to onboard, but that's just not the reality for me today. So, my hope overall is that that I've gone to market solving a real pain point for people so I can just genuinely increase revenue and start developing those even more impactful feature sets. That helpful AI that we talked about a little bit earlier on this podcast, the idea that this can absolutely, all this technology that's coming out today that these B2B tech companies are using can be human centered and human driven for a direct to consumer product that's more effective and more helpful and honestly more genuine than I think I've seen a lot of the stuff that's gotten pushed out to date from some of these larger big tech companies that I can't really compete with revenue wise. So that's kind of the whole picture.
Yeah, oh my God. Like, I just love your energy and attitude. Yeah, like yeah, there are big names out there, but they're not you, right? This is you. And I love how you're unapologetic about
Why
it.
not me, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And that's what I'm all about, right? Like, just be you. And I think, yeah, we might not have the best names or numbers or titles, but it's not about that, right? We're here to just really serve our people and our mission and solve that pain because we truly care.
Right. The technology can serve the person using it. At a we're at a precipice. That's it. We can start making decisions differently. And I
Exactly.
think we live in such a small world and we have the internet and I can podcast you in a different city and we can have these conversations and put it on for anyone to watch. So
Right.
messaging is just easier to get out there. Granted, there's a lot of noise, but you have to trust the process, I think.
Yes. Yes. Trusting the process and just standing out. So there are a lot of people as founders who are, like we talked about, like traditional marketing, but why
Mm,
do you think we did the podcast? Because it brings these stories in, that human connection. It's that authentic leadership that's
right.
missing that, yeah, any tech giants could have, but, every single time I talk about it's just AI tool, AI agent, a virtual assistant, everything is AI. But sometimes I just want to talk to a real person, right? I just sometimes we just want a sounding board and just someone to be like, hey, like she gets me, she understands me, right? And that's what they want, whether that an app or anything for sure. So
Moment of real life here. Our HVAC went out and we had really low weather, really low temperatures this past week. And our HVAC appointment guy no showed. And so we were just trying to call the company and we were getting sent straight to an AI agent that was not
yeah,
real. And we could not figure out how to get to a real person. No one called to reschedule with us. Like it was a whole ordeal. So
right.
needless,
Yeah, and especially for older people, they're just like, I just want to talk to a person, And I think, and I was like, oh my God, yes, and I just love showing up and talking and networking with people in a way
right,
that just connection, right?
right,
Connection and collaboration. This is my form. And I think what you talked about is trusting the process, but doing it your way. Right. You don't
exactly.
have to do what other people are doing with marketing or with apps as a founder. And that's something that I've learned in the past 4 years of being a founder and CEO is do it your way, do it what aligns with you. right?
Exactly.
And it works perfectly, right?
Well, I think that's how real genuine leaders are
Yeah.
going to have visibility and influence in this like world of AI content online,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So, showing your face, putting out the genuine content. So much of what we're seeing online now is AI generated, and all the voices start to sound the exact same when you're reading, when you're watching these AI videos. And so I think if these founders, us together, all continue to speak in our own tone, that alone is going to stand out from the AI generated noise. And then I think authenticity is going to be the new currency of influence, especially in business, and it will continue to grow across some of the larger social platforms as well.
Yeah, exactly. And there's been so many partnerships, like even as founders, just partnering with others brings in that more collaboration, authentic
Right.
leadership. And we're rare,
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
we want to showcase that. Like, why not? Like you said, why not?
Why
Me,
not?
I'm authentic, I'm unapologetic, and that's what people need. And yeah, not everyone's gonna like you or resonate with you, but we don't need that, right? We need the right people
Exactly.
who truly love us for who we are. So,
Yeah.
wow, such a great conversation here. So, yeah, so for leaders building AI products or leading innovation
Mm.
teams or even other founders in this AI age industry, what advice would you give about combining this AI fluency with leadership acumen?
So I have a really strong opinion on this.
Mhm.
So I'm going to be really blunt about it.
Yeah,
If you are a leader today and you're going to implement these powerful LLM tools at your place of business, you need to do three things. You need to understand them. You don't get to go in and just kind of get them. You need to deeply understand the tools that you're trying to interact with, how they work, what error rates are, what you can expect from them. And then you can understand what you're asking of your teams to do when you ask them to implement these tools, when you ask them to improve productivity and well, what are we doing with our GPTs? Like, how are we making our lives better? Well, if you don't understand how the technology works, you're not going to understand what you're asking of your teams. And so that's two. And then third, you have to have a way to measure your success. And if you don't do these three things across the board, your LLM initiative or your productivity AI initiative will probably fail. True leadership in AI is not about having answers, it's actually about asking the right questions
right.
and then setting realistic expectations for your team and then having a way to make sure that everyone's successful in a way that's measurable, right? And these are, I think, three of the most important things that leaders may not be hitting the mark on today.
Yeah. Exactly. Asking the right questions, right? And a lot of leaders, I think, just go ahead and like, hey, let's just implement it, but being more intentional about getting some clarity. What are you trying to solve? What is your vision? Back to that. How can I actually have tangible steps to make that vision a reality, right? And just being intentional with time. So it's all about intention, impact, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. No, this is great. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
So before we wrap up, I'd love to hear, Jaclyn, when you think about the next year or two, what's the bigger impact you love Sortara to make? What kind of leader do you envision becoming as you scale this vision?
Okay, this is a really good question, and I'm gonna admit, like you gave me the questions ahead of time, and this was one I thought about a lot because I wasn't really sure what that looks like. So,
Yeah.
today I think that Sortara solves a problem simply. It brings all of your digital finds, your notes, your in real life discoveries. It has a QR code and barcode scanner in it. It's easy to search and it's easy to collaborate. Like this is the problem it solves today. It's also got a little AI agent in there that can just create your lists and categories for you, which I love. A long-term roadmap is blurry for me. I don't have some definite absolute future that I see, but what I hope is that, once we've onboarded and hopefully solved a problem for a large group of people, who else knows what we could bring to the table. So it depends on who loves the app and what is the next problem that we could solve simply. I have an idea. I have an idea about this helpful AI. I have an idea of how this will integrate into your life, how it can learn from your own patterns, how it will be private, not resold, not retraining data. I have the vision, right? But as a leader, I want to stay very curious and build with the same simplicity that I started with. So for me, that's about listening, adapting, and making sure the technology that I'm creating is always serving the person who's using it. So the answer is open ended. It could be kind of where I'm thinking and where I'm headed, but it could end up to be some sort of hybrid of something that I learn in market along the way. And I have learned how to be comfortable with that kind of uncertainty, which was something that was really difficult to grasp for a long time.
Yeah. I love that answer. And I love how you talk about being curious because that's like the success measure for an entrepreneur. It's always being curious. Having a vision, also going with the flow and understanding what the customers want, right? And when I did my market research in the beginning, it was all about just kind of interviewing people, right? Like similar to this, just understanding like what they want, what their pain points are, what, makes them so happy, right? It's all about the people and the users. So, great. That's amazing. I hope that you can make such a great impact through Sortara. So always happy to support you
Here's
for sure.
trying.
So yeah, all right. Let's switch gears for a quick rapid fire round. Short answers. First thing
Okay.
that comes to mind. I love doing these. So if you could describe your leadership style in one word, what would it be?
Mm. Reciprocal. That is the word. I believe leadership is a dialogue. I invest my time in my team's success, my contractor's success, and then they reinvest their time in my mission. And that if it's not a two-way street, you're going to have more
Yeah,
friction, difficulty, you're going to have more difficult conversations. And honestly, is there a better way to achieve a goal than everyone pointed the same direction? Like,
right. Yes, yes. I love that. Yeah, alignment, direction, reciprocal. I love it. Absolutely. Wow. So, very inspiring conversation, Jaclyn. And yeah, so one app, book, or podcast that's
mm.
inspired how you think about just leadership or innovation in general.
So, my history is I used to be in service industry. I worked as a waitress and bartender through college and after college when I graduated because I made more money as a bartender than I did in corporate America at the time. So I kept that up. But something that I read early on, and it actually changed the way I interact with people, is a book called Raving Fans. It's an old book. You can get it super cheap, paperback. It really teaches you about the psychology of dealing with someone in a state of anger. So if you can take someone who's dissatisfied, displeased, upset, and about maybe a service that your company is offering, or maybe the food that came to their table, for example, but you are able to talk to them, hear them, and turn them into a raving fan from a complaining state, you have learned one of the most powerful psychological engagements you can have with another person for the rest of your life.
Mhm.
Like, it will serve you in business, in your personal life, because you just start to understand the state of anger a little bit better and how not to take people's behavior personally,
Yeah.
but rather respond in a non-reactive way. And so it's just a really good book. I always recommend it for anyone who's, for instance, in customer success or
Mhm.
customer facing
Yeah.
overall.
Oh, wow. I need to maybe read about that as well. Yeah. And I agree. It's all about like how you show up with that emotional intelligence and empathy. So I think these are things that kind of important when it comes to executive leadership, right? These soft
Yes.
skills, and definitely hope the listeners check it out for sure. And yeah, amazing. So one or two more questions. Morning ritual or creative habit that keeps you grounded before a big launch or a presentation.
I love going on walks. I cheat, like, I have to go on walks because I have 2 dogs. So, it's a little bit of a cheat because I feel guilty if I don't go on a walk, but the walk allows me to clear my mind. It's simple, it's a meditative practice, helps you with your breathing, helps you with your heart, like your heart rate regulation. These things are excellent for keeping yourself very grounded and ready during preparation for anything that you're trying to accomplish. I try to remember to trust my preparation so that I can feel comfortable taking that downtime or that quiet time right before it goes live or launches or the presentation, for instance. But
Yeah.
clears your head, keeps you focused.
Yeah. Just going out in nature just really helps. Yeah,
It
walking,
does.
nature. For me, I think just kind of music or meditation. I think that's been helping for a lot of leaders. So I think this is all about just kind of slowing down, right? Because I know a lot of leaders I talk to are on autopilot. So if you're listening, just take the time to go for a walk or just slow down, right? So
Right.
important. And yeah, so where can people download your app or learn more about your work, Jacqueline?
It is available on the Google Play Store and App Store today. Sortara.com, and we're across just about any social media channel. So if you just search Sortara, you'll find my story, my posts, and we're running a promotion right now for a small founders circle. So anyone who signs up through December 15th gets their first 3 months for free. And you get a direct line of feedback to me, talk about the app, tell me about how it's helped you organize your life. Or if you want to complain, you can do that too, right? It doesn't have to be all good. I can take it, I promise.
Oh, you're so sweet, Jaclyn. And yeah, I don't think anyone's going to complain. I think it's going to really change everyone's lives. I can see that
Thank you.
right now. So, yeah, oh my goodness. So, this was such an insightful, inspiring conversation. Thank you for sharing your journey, your vision for ethical AI, and your mission to bring humanity back into productivity. So, to our listeners, if today's episode inspired you, follow Voices of Impact for more stories. A lot more coming in next week. So, strategies from leaders who are not just building technology, but reshaping how we live, right? So, redefining success and connecting in the age of AI. So, until next time, stay bold, stay aligned, and keep using your voice to make an authentic impact.
Thank you so much, Bina. I really appreciate you having me.
Of course.
Bye.